Some standards certainly exist in the fighting game industry regarding input patterns. They were developed back in the day when the primary playing place were arcades. You know, it is not too big a deal to make a quarter circle or half circle movement with an arcade stick, for example, while playing Street Fighter II on those machines. The same input feels more difficult on gamepads, especially for beginners. It is quite meaningful that the trend of moving slightly away from those classic controls has been supported by Street Fighter VI. The game introduces a simplified system called Modern Controls, where you need to only press 1 to 2 buttons to perform a special move. And it steps even further than just making input simpler. The dedicated community took the changes somewhat coldly. That is quite understandable, as those inputs have become a strong part of the playing process. Adapting to them is important for learning a game. Performing a difficult move at a proper moment for a greatly optimal combo gives such a satisfying feeling. Stepping away from those motion plus attack inputs feels kind of unfair, and rewarding button mashing, that certainly sparks some emotional discussion. Are modern controls in Street Fighter VI or simplified inputs in other games a step back for fighting games culture? Are classic inputs necessary to keep fighting games as great as they are now? And most importantly, what type of controls are better to use when you have the choice? Let's dive into this here and now. The idea behind simplified input in fighting games is to remove obstacles for newcomers to the genre and let them just enjoy the fights. In general, Street Fighter VI took some steps in that direction. For example, with the World Tour mode that teaches various fighting techniques in a fun, RPG-like way. The modern control system pushes accessibility even further. No previous core Street Fighter games had this. We could probably name 2 main distinguishing features of modern controls in Street Fighter VI. The first one is having the same input for punches and kicks of each strength level. You press light, medium, or heavy attack, and each will give you either a kick or a punch, depending on what developers deem to be the best button for your character in each possible state, such as crouching, standing, and jumping. And the second feature is activating a special move by one dedicated button. You can combine it with directional input to get a different special. Add the heavy attack button, and you'll get super arts. Also, the modern control system offers one button input for throw, drive impact, and drive parry. One more aspect totally worth highlighting, it's assisted combo. Normally, players need to know what attacks can be linked into each other, feel exact timing for them, practice input to the level of having muscle memory, and then bring this skill from the lab to actual fights. Modern controls take some control out of your hands, but the system substantially simplifies the process. Assisted combo is kind of an auto combo, when players press the dedicated assist button and then just mash an attack input. The game adjusts exact moves the character performs to keep the action going. This makes a lot of difference for beginners and casual players. There's not much to say about the classic control system. This type of input is considered primary for the whole series. Every normal corresponds to a dedicated button, light, medium, heavy punch, and kick. Various movement inputs plus a normal attack button activate special moves, and the normal's power determines the exact feature of the special. For example, 236P for Ken is Hadoken, and 623P is Shoryuken. Super arts require double quarter circle movement input, plus punch or kick. Drive impact, rush parry, and throws are activated by pressing 2 buttons simultaneously, HP plus HK, MP plus MK, and LP plus LK, respectively. But you can bind them to left shoulder buttons. No assisted combos are available with classic controls. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Tired of lag ruining your matches? Surfshark VPN ensures seamless gameplay, while their vast server network unlocks geo-restricted content, letting you access game releases and content from around the world. Is Mortal Kombat banned in your country? Do you want to watch the cult classic Street Fighter movie or the new Tekken series, but they're restricted? Well, no more. Are you worried about DDoS attacks? Surfshark's rock-solid security shields you, keeping your personal information safe. Additionally, Surfshark's dedicated IP feature provides a unique gaming experience with added stability. Get Surfshark VPN today and immerse yourself in secure, boundaryless gaming. Unlock 82% off plus 2 extra months free when you purchase the 2-year deal with the link below. Stay safe on the internet. Let's also mention dynamic controls shortly. It is an even bigger simplification. With this system on, the game automatically selects moves your character will perform. So, this is sort of the ultimate button mashing. This system is for offline play only, so we don't really take it seriously. When Street Fighter 6 released, the majority of players were seemingly convinced that the modern controls would be little more than a gateway to Classic. Something that will let new players get familiar with the game before they start learning the DP inputs, quarter circles, and other fun ways to wiggle the stick. After all, even though you have one-button inputs, you're losing 20% of the damage and half of your buttons. However, as the game developed, modern controls turned out to be quite a controversial topic. It became evident that it's not just a tool for newcomers to learn the game, but also a powerful weapon in the right hands. For experienced players, the boost to reaction speed with one-button specials and supers allows them to immediately counter whatever the opponent is doing. But surprisingly enough, there are some issues even on the lower levels of play. When you have 2 players who are completely new to Street Fighter, the one who can easily input special moves and make use of the combo assist will have an obvious advantage that outweighs the drawbacks. Outside of that, it's hard to make definitive conclusions while meta is still evolving and people are figuring the game out. The 2 different control schemes could be very well on par, but that probably won't stop the player from feeling frustrated when they get grabbed by an instant 720. It's worth mentioning that Street Fighter is not the first title to offer simpler inputs. In fact, not every game in the genre follows the pattern of quarter circles and dragon punches. Tekken and Soul Calibur offer a big variety of moves with pretty straightforward input, but memorizing them all and finding the best, especially for you, becomes an extra challenge. NRS games, Mortal Kombat and Injustice, have their own atmosphere in both aesthetics and control system. Super Smash Bros. Is the series that introduced the combination of a simple directional input plus an attack button for activating a bit different light, special, or smash attacks. Other platform fighters adopted it quite well, such as Brawlhalla and Multiverses. Among more classic fighting games, we could name DBFZ that removes those 623s, half circles, and double quarters but keeps simple quarter circles for specials and supers. The general input pattern is more accessible for the non-core fighting game player. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus steps above and beyond here. This game allows both classic and simplified inputs at the same time. You don't have an extra meter to limit the spamming of specials. Instead, each of such attacks, called skills, have a reload time, and it is shorter for the classic inputs. It seems like the developers want to remove even this disadvantage for the new version of their game, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising. At the end of the day, simplified controls remain to be an extremely difficult topic to tackle for fighting game developers. Even going back as far as Virtua Fighter, we've seen games that try and offer something that would be intuitive and easy to understand for new players. But this trend has only gained more traction in the past decade or so. The benefits are obvious. Fighting games cost a lot of money to make, yet how many of them can boast the large sales numbers outside of the mastodons like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter? It's only natural that devs and publishers would want to have as few barriers of entry as possible. But how do you do it right? We've yet to see a definitive answer to that question, and who knows if we ever will. Street Fighter 6 seemingly came out closest to showing everyone how to do it right, but even Capcom's well-thought-out solution received plenty of justified criticism alongside the praise it deserved. The only thing that's certain is that modern controls did succeed in allowing many new players to experience the joy of fighting games without undermining what makes them so much fun. What input type do you prefer in Street Fighter 6? Should simplified controls become the norm in fighting games? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.